and welcome to my book recommendations based on McFly's Power to Play. Power to Play by McFly is their latest album and it came out today at time of filming, and I just want to talk about it. So what I'm going to be doing is giving you a book recommendation based on each song as I go through the album, and then just sort of telling you whether it's because of the vibes, the lyrics or whatever. So let's get going with Where Did All the Guitars Go? And the book I'm going for with that is Spaceman, actually by Tom Fletcher of McFly, because this is all about a group of kids who absolutely love music. They're in a band together, they get beamed up into space, and they have to essentially take part in a Battle of the Bands competition to save the Earth, because if they don't, the Earth is going to get destroyed, essentially, if they lose. And this is such a fun book. If you've got musical kids or anything like that, they will absolutely love this book. It's actually got a CD that comes with it as well, or like music that goes with it as well, that you can listen to, that is like written by the characters within this book, but they're obsessed with like their guitars, their drums, everything else, and it's just so good. It's all about like guitars and music and loving all of that kind of thing, and I just think it fits perfectly with that, and also the vibes of the songs within this book as well just fit perfectly. And I mean, that was obviously gonna happen, so we're kicking it off with Spaceman because I think this one fits the best with Where Did All the Guitars Go. Now we go on to a song called Land of the Bees. Can you tell I've only heard this album like 3 times now? I'm still getting to grips with like the lyrics and the beats and all the rest of it. And I would also be showing you physically the album and wearing the album t-shirt I also pre-ordered, but it hasn't arrived yet. So I'm currently sort of in between filming this, looking at my door like Gollum essentially, and just sort of going, where is my precious, waiting for it. But anyway, Land of the Bees, kind of random, kind of weird, but also the fact that it's talking about like they've got the power to play and all the rest of it. I'm gonna go for The Chronicles of St. Mary, specifically Just One Damn Thing After Another, which is the first book. This is by Jodie Taylor, and this is about essentially chaotic time travelers, historians essentially, and I'm feeling like it kind of fits that kind of slightly more chaotic vibe of this song, because it's not really sort of about anything in particular as far as I can tell, to be honest. And I mean, they've all said it's a bit random, and they just kind of came up with the riff and then the words Land of the Bees and sort of ran with it essentially. And it sort of feels like that with this as well, because the characters in here kind of get an idea and they essentially just run with it. And I mean, it made sense in my head. They're both a bit random, both a bit chaotic. That's where I'm going with this essentially. And the next song is Forever's Not Enough. And because this song is sort of about like falling apart and coming back together again and feeling like forever is not really enough for the two of you, I've gone for the Gilded Wolves, because it feels like with this team, forever isn't enough for them, because they are all so close and so connected with each other, whether that be romantically or like in a friendship way or whatever. It very much feels like, especially with Severin and all the characters actually, but with Severin viewing the rest of the team, it feels very much like forever would not be enough for him, especially with the character he's in love with, whose name I've completely forgotten, but I know she calls him a Jean or Majan. Her madman, I've forgotten her name. Anyway, it feels like very much with those characters, it feels like it would very much be like forever is not enough for them. The next one is God of Rock and Roll. And for this one, I'm going less for a specific book recommendation and more for a character, because it turns out this song was actually inspired by Eddie Munson from Stranger Things. Specifically, it was that moment where he's playing Metallica in the Upside Down. This actually inspired this song entirely. Thank you, Dougie, for coming up with this idea. And therefore, if the Eddie Munson prequel book had come out at this point, I would be showing you that book instead. But because that Eddie Munson book hasn't arrived yet, instead I'm going for the character of Hobie Brown, aka Spider-Punk, because what part of this whole image does not scream God of Rock and Roll and kick-ass, anarchist, all the rest of it? Every single time I hear this song, I think of Hobie. Every time I think of Hobie, I hear this song. Every time I see Hobie, this song plays in my head. Essentially, it's a whole thing. It's just, the two are forever connected in my mind at this point, and I mean, he just looks like the God of Rock and Roll at this point, and I love him, so I had to mention him here and shout him out, and also sort of connect him with this song, because, I mean, he just screams God of Rock and Roll to me, and also sort of like that sort of Eddie vibes that I can't get from an Eddie book because it's not out yet. You get my meaning? Essentially just punk awesome people, essentially, is what reminds me of God of Rock and Roll, and God of Rock and Roll reminds me of these people. The next song is called I'm Fine. And for this I'm going for Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and Vengeful actually, because this song feels very much like it's about saying like you've got this person antagonising you for like your perceived failures and things like this, which just reminds me a lot of Victor and Eli just antagonising each other constantly throughout these books, which I absolutely love, and I absolutely love this song. This song is absolutely incredible. It's like the most emo song McFly have ever released, and I am living for it, to say the least. Like, to say the least, this album is making my emo heart very happy, and I mean, this book makes my emo heart and my general heart very happy as well, so combining the two. And the next song is Taking Back Tonight. mention the final strife for this, because it feels very much like, I mean, the characters are literally trying to take back the night, in the sense that they are constantly attacked by a thing called the tide wind, which is a very, very strong wind that literally strips like flesh from bone and things like this. So in that sense, they are trying to take back the night and trying to stop that, but they're also just trying to take back their lives in general, because everyone has been split off into different like sections of society depending on their blood colour, and anybody who is essentially not like red blood is treated like cattle, slaves, all the rest of it, and they're trying to really sort of stop that essentially, which is where this idea of taking back the night and everything else has kind of come from in my head. Next we have Honey, I'm Home. And this song just reminds me of Rye and Alucard from the Dark Shade of Magic series, because it feels very much like that one person is home to another, and no matter how far you go, you always come back to that person, and it feels very much on that vibe of this song with Rye and Alucard, because no matter what problems they have, no matter how far away Alucard travels, he always comes back to Rye in the end, and they are very much at the end of the story together as a couple, and there is sort of like this very big connection with them even when they are fighting, all the rest of it. They are just, I mean, they're one of my OTPs, and now this song will forever be associated with Rye and Alucard as well. Next is Route 55, and this was actually co-written with Mark Hoppus of Blink-182. This song gives me a lot of like contemporary romance types of vibes and things like this, which is generally not my thing, so the only thing I can really give you here is Heartstopper. Specifically, I think it's volume 2 where they go to Paris. It feels very much like that in terms of like this endless summer, being with your friends and just feeling alive and happy and just endless summer essentially. It just definitely reminds me of Heartstopper in a lot of ways. The next song is Crash. Because Crash is such a short, sharp and angry sort of song. It's literally 1 minute 41 seconds long. I'm going to go for a short, sharp and angry comic, and for that I'm going for Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. This is literally a very short comic where Deadpool literally snaps and kills the entire Marvel Universe. It's short, it is angry, and I think it works quite well. It's just, both of these things pack a serious punch, hence why I'm going for Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. Next song I have is Make It Out Alive. And for this I'm going for Queen of Air and Darkness, because we're talking about like tragic moments and wondering if you're all going to make it out alive, all of this kind of thing. And I think this is very much summed up in this absolute weapon of a book, in terms of like all the other characters wondering if they're going to make it out of this alive with everything going on within the clave. There's also like the tragic moments of losing one of their siblings, and also just the general like Blackthorn level of like tragedy, and then also Emma and Julian's tragedy within themselves as well, and between like the two of them. Basically there's a lot of tragedy in this book, and there is also a lot of like wondering if you're going to make it out alive and what's going to happen to you and your loved ones and all of this kind of thing in the future, and I just think it fits quite well. And then our final song is Shine On. And because this song is very much about wanting to be who you want to be and wanting to be free and all the rest of it, but kind of feeling a little bit like scared to do that, but still wanting that love and everything to shine on and shine through, I've gone for A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichol, because Addie as a character is very much like wanting to be who she wants to be, where everyone else is trying to tell her maybe, you know, stop it, and sort of like patting her on the head a little bit kind of thing, because oh, like her thoughts and feelings don't matter, but she still lets her love and everything for neurodivergent people and people in general really shine through, and she tries to see the best in people and tries to do the right thing and that kind of thing, which really sort of resonates with me, and I just really love this book, and I think it fits Shine On quite well. And that is the end of my recommendations based on McFly's Power to Play. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up, comment down below, tell me your favourite song off this album. I'd love to know, or if you've got any ideas for another recommendation list you'd like me to do like this, please leave them down below, or if you don't have that much time, leave me a guitar emoji down below to let me know that you were here, and also leave a link as well down below to all of my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics, as well as a link down below as well to my Etsy store that sells bookish merch, and also a link to the Spotify page for this album if you want to listen to it in full, not sped up, all the rest of it, all of that will be linked down below. Or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time everyone, bye!